Ian, we have a Patreon, don't we?
We do. Patreon.com/CU Podcast. You go. You provide us with a little bit of that old financial support. And what do you get? Well, that's going to be changing, but you're going to get some writings from me that I'm going to be putting out on Tuesdays. That'll probably just be short catch-ups of topics that we would normally talk about on the podcast. There's hangouts. There's pins. All sorts of good bonus stuff. Bonus bits. The bonus bits that were ahead of the podcast. There's got to be tons and tons of those on there now.
66. Yeah, this week talking about Ant-Man and the NBA All-Star Game.
So if you're going to miss us, there is other content that maybe you haven't heard.
And you're going to get first access to any future stuff like super shows or quarterly updates and stuff like that, specials. So we had a Patreon poll, Ian, that you voted on. Mm-hmm. And in second place, didn't quite make it. Best games that had unique controls. Shucks. First place, from a Twitter suggestion from about 4 or 5 years ago. Why does that Larry Bundy dude hate you?
Pat, do tell.
Referring to Larry Bundy Jr., a.k.a. YouTuber Guru Larry. Well, I think this is technically, I gotta play the intro.
People, you better beware. People, you better prepare. If you come at him, he just might clap back. It's Petty Pat.
That's me. Soon to be on CD and vinyl and audio cassette.
Boy, howdy.
And 8-track.
Can't wait to get my limited edition 7-inch of that.
What did you say, Ian? It was limited? What? There you go.
I did.
You're going to miss the soundboard every week?
Nope. I will not miss the soundboard.
So when you're an online persona, Ian, personality, you put yourself out there, and people will take shots at you. You're going to get people that. Why are you smirking for? You like people taking shots at me?
No, I just think your lead-in is always funny.
Thank you, Ian. You're going to miss that too. People come after you. You run the gamut of exposure because there's people out there that could be a little unhinged, people on the periphery, people that are extreme, could get obsessed with you, could just like leave comments about you for year after year after year that you may never find out about because why would you be in contact with them? You don't know who these people are. They're not in your sort of
sphere,
not in your sphere or your vision. And that happens to all of us. But what's weird is that when it happens with someone who's a content creator, you know, he's like you said, in your sphere of influence and sort of like,
yes, he's aware of who you are.
A colleague that you've spoken to and been on same websites with. And that is the weird, unfortunate case of Larry Bundy Jr., aka Guru Larry, who's a YouTuber in the UK across the pond, used to be on Retroware TV, used to be on Screw Attack back in the day, used to be on Channel Awesome. Puts out videos talking about weird stuff that happens with games. Fact Hunt is one of his series. He's also a good cartoonist from what I've seen. He does a lot of cartoon art, things like that. Talented bloke. Can I say bloke? That's a UK term. Talented fellow or bloke. We don't use bloke enough here. So the weird thing is that Larry has had a personal, at least to me, personal vendetta against me for the better part of a decade, going back over 10 years. And before I get into why I think that happened,
Exhausting.
The why?
No, I think it's exhausting to have a vendetta against someone for a decade. That's exhausting.
Especially someone that's also like a content creator that, you know, we know all the same sort of people. But I'll tell you some of the claims that have been made to me or that I've seen evidence of. And I have some screenshots, some I lost, some I stopped keeping track because it was at some point, it was literally every few months for years where people say, hey, Larry's talking about you again. Comment on the video, comment on a Facebook group. It got literally exhausting. I was like, I don't fucking care what he has to say anymore. I don't think about him. I don't mention his name. I think once or twice we might have brought him up after he attacked me. The next week I might have called him a liar in passing on the podcast. But you probably remember when that happened. It was probably so few.
If you've brought him up, it's been so short as to not register on my radar.
Sure. So the fact of the matter is, this person has a sickness for me and other content creators because he also has talked trash.
He has afflictions.
Has afflictions we'll get into. Has talked trash about Billy and Jay, 8-Bit Eric, probably GameSack, other people that we know, Spoonie, people that are at Channel Awesome, just talking.
Spoonie's got some issues.
We all do. We all have afflictions, Ian.
We all have afflictions.
But the point is that this person unlike most content creators, goes out of their way to stir the pot and start shit with other content creators. There's something going on there. Most of us don't do that publicly. Most of us, if we have problems with other major content creators that we know about, we will, address it privately or not do that. Especially not go into YouTube comments of not just larger YouTubers, but I mean like going into videos with like 500 views of someone talking trash about me and leaving comments. That's like a next level of obsession that happens with someone like Larry Bundy Jr. that I've known about forever and ever. And so, for example, I get comments from large YouTubers. You see the one about someone warning me about, hey, Pat, as a guy who respects you, this is from 2016, by the way. As a guy who respects you and your content on YouTube, Larry Bundy is straight calling you out on Gamester81's comment section and basically stirring up drama. I really like you as a dude. I thought you should know. I got comments like this so often, Ian, that I had to stop and just say, I appreciate it.
I'm not looking into it. I don't care. I've got better things to do.
What am I going to do?
Right.
What am I going to do? The guy wants to leave comments about me, and that's fine. He doesn't like me for that reason. But the amount of hate and vitriol went to such a weird level, which we'll get into, with very strange claims about me that not just that I saw, that others saw, because he made these posts on YouTube channels, on Facebook groups. I had to make a list, and I forgot some of these. But these are some of the more weird, outlandish ones that Ian's known about this from time to time. But I never brought this up really to Ian that much the past years. It was probably like a couple times offhand.
Yeah, I'm aware that the guy had it out for you, and he's a jerk. That's, really it.
But let's get into some of the nitty-gritty of these claims, which we can talk about on a scale of 1 to 10, how crazy they are to think about. All right? Number one. Pat, he says this still to this day, Pat used Larry to gain more subscribers and that I only got big because of being friends with James Rolfe. Let's talk about the first accusation, that I used Larry to get bigger. Ian, you remember that great series I had with Larry? Larry and Pat go to the car boot sales.
Yeah, it was amazing.
We ran for years. You know about that long-running podcast we had. Pat and Larry hash it up and talk about things.
No, in all seriousness, I don't know that you've ever done anything with Larry. I don't think you have.
I think,
my knowledge.
I think I had 2 or 3 online voice conversations with Larry back in 2010 and 11, where we might have talked about collaborating. If I did one collaboration with Larry, or like a video I appeared in, or an interview, I have no clue what that is. But I don't think I got any bigger because of Guru Larry. I don't think that's a thing that anyone reasonable, on a scale of 1 to 10 crazy level, is that a 5? Is that like in the middle? It's not super outlandish, but it's still a little crazy. It's like a 5, 5.5.
I honestly think it's higher than that, because that's
7?
just like where are we getting that? Where are we getting this from?
But there's some
6.
There'd be some basis in reality if I did something with this person. I only got big because of being friends with James Rolfe, and this is a common thing that pieces of trash like Jeff Tarzia will trot out, and other people that come after us in general. And this is funny because they don't know the history of my channel and my content and the grind it was. Ian's seen a lot of it, but like, it goes back to, okay, Pat collaborated with James on a couple of videos back like 10, 11 years ago, including the NWC video. That NWC video, Ian, when that was made, that didn't go on YouTube for like several months, for example. It went on Game Trailers. People that I met,
Game Trailers.
People that I met at conventions years later, Ian would say to me, I thought you were just a character in that video.
Sure.
It did not translate over into Pat having fame and fortune. Ian, did I like quit my job when that video came out? That NWC video?
Yeah, of course.
No. I gained 2,000 to 3,000 subscribers after that video came out on my channel. Right. That's what happened. It was actually disappointing because I said to myself, well, wow, maybe I will get like the next video come out and get 100,000 views. No, I was still getting, 1,000 views on a Pat the NES Punk video. This is pre-podcast. Like I was still a small-time YouTuber with probably 5,000 subscribers. So what I say to you people out there in general, including Guru Larry, is that when people decide to work with someone, like I decided to work with Ian decides to work with me, I decided to collaborate with other people. It's not done. There's not a gun into our head. There's nothing like, I'm just going to just do it. We do these things and collaborate because we either like the people or we think they're talented.
Yeah.
I think Ian is very talented. as a podcaster and a
As are
talker.
you, Pat.
Oh my God, Ian gave me a compliment. It took 350 episodes.
Well, there's a reason why we did this for 350
Yes.
episodes, and it's because we have a good rapport.
The point is this, though. James was not forced to work with me. Spoonie was not forced to work with me back then. No one was forced to work with me. Retroware TV was not forced to work with me or have me on their site. They saw something in me to give me a chance, something unique, maybe something original. Maybe he's a fucking goofball idiot. That at least there's something there. The point is this: that's not in a vacuum. Collaborations. There has to be something there. James saw some talent in me, liked what I did, and we got along. Went to Comic-Con 2010. We hung out. So that's why I've had a good, relationship with James. You know how many times James has probably gotten people to say, do a video with me? Tens of thousands of times, probably. And he's very choosy about who he does. That's just dumb. The next is something that is he said this from time to time, Larry, that I use and abuse drugs. I think he might have been alluded to either cocaine or something, maybe because I used to have like a nervous tick or something, and
Pat's straight and narrow when it comes to the drugs and the drugs, alcohol. He has like
I'll have a libation from time to time.
Pat's a wicked drinker, man. He just drinks so much. No, Pat's had the same bottles of liquor on his fucking cabinet. I mean, the entire time.
Except for the tequila. Tequila cycles.
Yeah.
Are you looking at my liquor every week when you come over?
I mean, it's right by the bathroom. I see it when I walk by.
Anyway, I think it's weird to try to throw. I mean, that's literally libel and slander. They say something like that. Oh, I'm a drug abuser, just because it sounds bad. And what if I was a drug abuser, Larry? Like, what if I was? I would need help.
People need help.
Like, so either way, you're a fucking scumbag for saying that. Like, either way.
No good way around it.
You don't make lies about someone being a drug abuser, but then, like, so what if I was? What if I had issues? What if I was addicted to something where I needed it? Anyway. The next is great. Ian, do you have the screenshot for the next one? Is this your favorite one?
This is my favorite. It's strange. So Larry Bundy, is this a Facebook post?
Yeah, he
looks like Facebook.
He was on the 8 and 16-bit gamers Facebook group talking.
I love this. How magnanimous of Larry here. Hey, peoples, I've hidden the previous thread I made about Pat. He's getting a shit ton of hate from all fronts at the moment, and what with his afflictions, I really don't want to push him over the edge and do something silly. I may not be his greatest fan, but we were friends once upon a time, so I have some respect for him. I would never forgive myself if he ever went and did something stupid.
Wow.
Shut the fuck up, Larry.
Wow.
This is like a 10 out of 10 on the crazy scale.
This is a 10 out of 10?
That's insane.
Okay.
You're insane. You're fucking crazy.
So this is what happened. Obviously, we got blowback from people. There was a little bit of a collusion effort between a few YouTubers to put out attack videos about us at the same time when the Diablo Immortal thing happened. Me and Ian, it bothered us a little bit. I wasn't ready to jump in front of a fucking train because of it. We got over it pretty quickly. We laughed about it on the next podcast.
I shut down I just didn't visit Twitter for like 3 days.
It was fine.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Like I said, one person I think in person at a panel asked us about it ever. In all the panels I've done.
Yeah, and I answered it very directly and succinctly.
And I basically said at the time, I don't care. Like that. So this thread is interesting because this is so slimy. He's trying to look like he's my friend, looking out for me when he really hates me and has a weird obsession with me. And saying I have afflictions. Larry, what are my afflictions that you are referring to? Is it the drug abuse? What are my afflictions? Am I self-harming? You can't just say these things, Larry. People make records of these things when you do this. Push me over the edge and do something silly. Larry, what was I going to do, buddy? Why don't you just be a man and say what I was going to do? You're just making shit up out of your fucking ass. Why didn't you say these things?
Just shitting directly back into his own mouth.
But we were friends once upon a time. Larry, we were never friends, buddy. We had like 3 Skype conversations, I believe, back in like 2010, 11. And then I started to get weirded out by things I'm going to get into about you. I would never forgive myself if you ever did something stupid. And then a reply to a comment, passive aggressive. Thanks, dude. I don't mean to bash him, but that's something I hear from a lot of people. So some probably saying, "Oh, Pat's an asshole," and so that's his way of saying, "Oh yeah, he's still an asshole." So that's it. So is that a 10 out of 10?
Yeah, that's a 10 out of 10.
Because it's saying I have afflictions that are unknown. I'm going to self-harm. I'm in a bad state.
It's more the framing of how he did it that makes it look extra fucking.
That he's being a nice guy.
It's just very. That's gross. Yeah.
Sure. The next is something that happened when Ian was out sick for a while. Well, there was a couple of PewDiePie controversies that happened.
I was around for some of them.
You went for
not
the
all
first
of
one.
them.
One of them where he did the Fiverr joke, the anti-Semitic joke, and then he had his heated gaming moment and was doing a lot of edgy and racist jokes.
Yeah.
Not saying he's a racist. He's doing racist jokes.
Oh, I think he's probably a racist, but anyways.
The point is this. My criticism at the time was he has a very young audience to begin with.
Right.
They're preteens, teens. You can't be doing this shit. Even if you just think you're being an edgelord, which I think he to Felix's credit, he later said, I think those jokes were a mistake. He looked back on it years later and said, I think that was a mistake. So I got heat for being critical of that. And so Larry had a comment about that. This wasn't Afflictions. Oh dear. You want to read this? You like reading these? The oh dear one?
The oh dear. Yeah. So this one, I didn't really understand what this was a response to.
That was a response to the PewDiePie thing.
Okay. Oh dear. Well, you can say that I did apologize in the last post and I didn't want people attacking him. See what he says to that. Tell him we were friends and I didn't want him getting any more shit than he does now. What's that good job sharing this conversation bit though? Was that the last message? How did he discover that?
That's something different. That's him using a Confederate to try to get information out of me privately. That's something totally different that we didn't get to. This was his oh dear in response to me being critical of PewDiePie. Oh dear.
Oh, there's a lot of oh dears apparently. I'm sorry, that's the problem.
It's a passive aggressive British thing that I can't stand, by the way. Oh dear. Pat has seemed to upset a lot of his viewers today. He's lost a ton of subs. It's most likely his video questioning if PewDiePie is a Nazi, as he is the voice of reason after all. I never said PewDiePie is a Nazi. I said he's making Nazi jokes that are stupid. I never said he's a fucking Nazi. Let me just say this about it. But if you're going to criticize me for being critical of that, I'll fucking take the heat. I don't care. I don't fucking care. I don't care. Ian didn't care.
No.
I don't care. Larry, this doesn't make you look good, buddy. You in your little echo chamber on Facebook where people don't like me already, they might think, that's right, Pat's being an asshole because he's being critical of racist jokes.
Yeah, like, what's your end game?
That's good. So on the crazy scale, is that like a 7, 8? I think it's like a 7.
That's a 5.
It's a 5.
Yeah, it's not that crazy. Well, it's crazy that he's expecting you to get backlash for going after racist. It
happens.
It's a Bundy out of 10.
It's a Bundy. The next one is so cute. I almost forgot about it. I don't have a picture of this, but he was trying to go around saying that I didn't do the bulk of the work on the NES book. It was Rue, our pal Rue from Clan of the Grey Wolf, that did all the work on the NES book, but I was taking all the credit for the work. That was so cute because it was like, how the fuck, if that was true, would I get away with that? How could someone possibly get away with something that outlandish? Would Rue just sit silently by and not, you know what I mean? And just, like, what? How would that work?
It's like people who think conspiracy theories, like they think the world lives in a vacuum and people don't talk and shit doesn't happen. There's no way something like that would stay hidden.
That's like insane. That to me is closer to a 10. That's like a 9. That's because, like, yes, Rue did some reviews on the book, and the reason why he didn't do Back to the Future because he thinks it's a shooter when it's not. But I mean, we love Rue, you know. Yes. But I would never screw over good old Rue. I'd never do that, even though he does insanely hate Doom for some reason. We'll look past that. Meaning, we'll never not look at ourselves at the panel and be like, "What is he talking about?" When he was bashing Doom. To go along with that, there's like a corollary here that.
A corollary or corollary?
Corollary.
Corollary.
Corollary to this.
That's what I was saying.
Oh.
I was making a
That's
joke.
why I like you and you're smarter than me. It's a corollary to this. Point number 6 on here. And this got back to me because another book author approached me on Facebook saying that he heard this going around and it was from Larry. This is not the author, but another one you know about that, the other one.
Oh,
he said that Pat has tried to blackball other Nintendo books from being sold at conventions. Ian has been around me enough at conventions, and I've been at enough conventions where if I try to do something like that, that would have gotten out so easily if I wanted to. But here's the thing, Ian. I don't want to blackball books from conventions because here's the thing about capitalism. When you have rival products that you feel are inferior, you want them to exist.
You look better.
Because they help you market your superior product.
Yep.
You're not afraid of them. I'm never afraid of selling at a convention to another person selling a Nintendo book because mine sell out most of the time or sell a lot better. I don't care. What makes this even funnier, though, by the way, I had to calm down this person and be like, I never did that. There's no proof of this.
Right.
This is nuts. I used to help run a gaming convention where if I wanted to do this, I could have done it and I still didn't. Because I am secure that I wouldn't have to do that. I can still sell books and be fair in the marketplace. So that's also capitalism. A corollary to this is that this story got that he posted that someone told him, maybe the author, maybe someone else, from Retro World Expo. This was so crazy because someone had to have seen this happen and then went on Facebook and lied about it, that I forced Lance, who runs Retro Game Expo, formerly ran RetroWare TV, of forcing Lance to take my luggage into the hotel for me when I arrived at Retro World Expo. So this is based upon something that actually happened, where I was tired as hell because the flight to Connecticut sucks. Probably took a red eye, not direct.
Yeah.
I get there. I got a 25-pound backpack. I have my big stand. I had luggage. And Lance, being one of the nicest guys in the world, I said, hey, Pat, let me get your luggage for you. And took my luggage from me for 50 feet. Someone had to have seen that.
I love Lance. I caught up with him like 6 months ago. It was nice.
He's good people.
Yeah.
But this is how crazy the internet is. Someone who doesn't like me had to have seen that in person, then make up a story that I forced someone to take my luggage for me.
It's crazy.
Is that like an 8 out of 10 or 7?
It's a 7.
7. Is the Blackball books a 9, or is that?
I'm going to bring up something though. It's funny though because that's kind of Zadok Payet,
Our pal,
our favorite friend, Zadok Payet. You weren't going to go this entire last episode without getting a message, you scumfuck. He once told a completely made up story that someone gave something to me at a convention once, and then I turned around and sold it. And it's like, that never happened, but it's like, all I can think of is someone saw something and did the same thing that they did there. They just twisted it into some fucking ridiculous story.
as an aside, remember the dumpster divers that came after us? The only time I really got pissed when he said that I refused to give someone an autograph at a convention, like a 13-year-old. And I said, dude,
they can do is lie.
I said, dude, you can fucking say I'm an asshole. You cannot say shit like that. That's straight up fucking slander. You can't say shit. That's never happened, by the way. But these are what these people do because they are desperate, and this is what they do. So there's more things that Larry has said about me that I probably forgot, or I can't be looking at every YouTuber with 50 subscribers that are talking trash about me and see what Larry's comments are, but they're out there. So why, you can ask, why would Larry be this vehemently against me for this amount of time and come up with so much heinous shit about someone? Well, Larry, you see, back in the day when he was on RetroRare TV and Channel Awesome, he was outed as being the main contributor for the horrible contributions and articles about all the content creators on a website called Encyclopedia Dramatica. That used to be a bigger website that would be literally for drama and articles about people.
Literally just drama, yeah.
So Larry wrote a majority, as far as I was told, ones about people like me, people on Channel Awesome, people like James Rolfe, and all of us, and people that he was on the same websites with at the time.
That's gross.
And if you looked at his writing style, it was his sort of style, a little British writing and terminology thrown in.
Oh, dears.
Yes. Oh, dears. And he was outed for that. And he has even admitted this publicly. The one I know about was when he was on a live stream and he was waylaid by Ape and Eric doing the right thing and calling out Larry for being a scumbag and for writing those articles. And Larry admitted it on that stream, which is out there somewhere. Someone has a copy of it. This is something this guy did. He wrote heinous fucking shit about a lot of us. So when that got out, we were on RetroRare TV together. And RetroRare TV was ready to do a relaunch, I believe, until like 2.0.
Right.
I straight up said to John and Lance, I don't want this guy on a site with all of us if he's untrusty and a scumbag.
Right.
I probably said, like, he can't be on the website. I didn't force you to be off the website, Larry. I wasn't in charge of the website. But I basically said, why would I want to be in a website with someone like that? Why would someone reasonably want to be in a website who's someone who stirs drama among their contemporaries? That's insane to do that. It's insane. So what happened was RetroRare TV 2.0 launched. He wasn't on it. I stopped talking to Larry. I think other contributors found out about that, the Dramatica stuff as well, that he was writing these articles. They stopped talking to Larry. Larry, I think, got in his head that I told everyone that Larry was a scumbag. I might have mentioned it to some people, Larry, because you are a fucking scumbag.
You can't be mad at being called a scumbag when you're a scumbag. If you do scumbag shit, you're going to get called a scumbag to other people. That's what friends do. You warn other people about other people who suck.
So he went on this quest to try to smear me ever since. And others, probably to some extent. But I've been the most, quote unquote, vocal about it. I'll take the heat. I think others are scared because they see what a crazy person Larry is when it comes to this and trying to get revenge. It's like borderline personality stuff. It's like once you're out of their life, you're dead to them. They'll try to destroy you. If you know someone with borderline personality disorder, it's bad. Anyway, not saying you have that, Larry, but these are some of the symptoms. But this hasn't been a pattern with Larry because to my knowledge, this has happened multiple times. Larry, for example, lied about being excluded from the Final Boss's website. It's a website that had people like Alpha Mega Sin, 8-Bit Eric, GameSack, Billy and Jay, that was around years ago. Larry was never asked to be on the website, and that he made up lies that he was going to be on it and not, and it never happened. I think it's one of the reasons 8-Bit Eric approached him and confronted him about that. He made it to his hit pieces. Along the way, Larry has tried to snake his way back into my life here and there with like, hey, we should water under the bridge. We should talk. And it's like, no, that's not how this works.
No, and that's my problem with a lot of these people. You say these things and then you expect shit to be water under the bridge.
Larry, why would you want to be talking to someone that has apparent afflictions like I do? You don't want to do that. So Larry has burned bridges everywhere he went because they realized what a snake he was. He burned bridges with the Screw Attack folks. There was a controversy over him owning the Screw Attack Europe YouTube channel. He didn't own the Screw Attack trademark. RetroWare TV folks knew he was a snake. And then I heard some things that he's been outed lately with a bunch of the UK YouTubers. He snaked them. That maybe he let some private conversation stuff get out. That's what I heard. So unfortunately, with someone like Larry, it's a cycle of sickness where, okay, I'm miserable, Ian. I'm going to try to make other people miserable because I have a sickness. Those people are going to find out about it, obviously. They're gonna disassociate.
Down with the sickness.
They're gonna disassociate, right? Because any reasonable person would. That makes me more miserable. That's a reasonable cycle, right? We see that happen with some people.
Yes.
So, Larry, when you go after content creators, when you lie about us, other content creators find out. That's just how knowledge and transparency works. But also, Larry, they're gonna find out when you publicly pirated my book on a Facebook group. You fucking slime ball. This was seen by a lot of people. Content creators found out about this. They took down the post. He literally hot linked to a digital version.
I knew about that.
You don't think, Larry, that content creators find out about that and they're going to be like, what the fuck is up? That's a 10 out of 10, Larry.
You may have thought you were making some sort of fucking point, but now everyone knows you to be an untrustworthy scumbag.
And it shows you had no ethics. Someone who's done even their own book would do something like that. And it just shows you're going to lie and do whatever you can manipulate in order to make a weird point that really hurts you more in the end than what you can really imagine. You are now isolated with not many content creators wanting anything to do with you, and that's nobody's fault but your own. But you know what, Ian? Maybe I'm the liar. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I actually try to blackball books at conventions. Maybe I used to be a drug abuser or still use drugs. Maybe I used you, Larry, to gain more subscribers. You know what? I'm going to put my money where my mouth is. I'm going to be at SoCal Gaming Expo the weekend of May 6th and 7th. And I already ran this by someone who runs the show. They gave me permission to issue this challenge. Larry, I went to the bank. I made a withdrawal for some Pat cash. It says 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000. Don't steal it again. $5,000 right there. It's $5,000, Larry, cash. If you come out to SoCal Gaming Expo, I will give you like half my panel time. If you can present incontrovertible, like that word, Ian?
I do.
Incontrovertible evidence, real evidence that I did the following. I used you to gain more subscribers. I was a drug abuser at some fucking point. I had afflictions and was in a bad place because of Diablo Immortal. Basically, that I was going to self-harm or do something crazy. Go on a rampage. That Rue wrote the NES guidebook, and I took all the credit. And then I tried to blackball other Nintendo books from being sold at conventions. Obviously, Larry, you're telling the truth. I will give you $1,000 for each of those 5 claims that you made about me if you present that evidence in person, buddy. That $5,000 will cover a full flight, hotel for a couple days, and you'll have probably $300 to $3,500 left over to go to Disneyland nearby Anaheim. You can hang out. You can do all that, Larry, because obviously I'm the one that has all these afflictions and I'm not telling the truth, and you are telling me the truth. That's the challenge, Larry.
Seems like an easy $5,000.
Easy $5,000 in cash. And you know what? What's the pat math on the conversion? Is that close to 5,000 pounds? What is 5,000 USD to pounds? It's 4,100. What do I got?
4,190 pounds. 4,129.
What do I got in my wallet? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 20s. 11 20s I got. $5,220. This is real. I got you a money envelope, Larry. I got you a money envelope, and I did not mean to print it this way. It's just, it's horrifying, Larry, but that's basically how you appear to be online to people. The $5,220 is going into this envelope. I will bring this to SoCal.
Should I check it and make sure it's a real envelope?
Yeah, it's not a mystery.
It's a real envelope.
Real envelope?
It's real 5,200 something.
I will write on it Larry's money. Larry's money. Smiley face. There you go, Larry, and I'm going to seal it up for you. This is real. I'm not touching this money for 10 weeks. That gives you plenty of time, buddy. You can go get your passport if you don't have one, and a visa, a travel visa. So no excuses. There you go, buddy. That's your cash ready for you. Come prove those 5 things. There goes the ducky finally. Come prove those things about me with real evidence in person. And I won't touch you. No physical harm like you try to tell people online I want to beat you up. No, Larry, I'm not going to do that. That's not.
He just wants you to state your truths.
State your truths about me, Larry. $5,000, $1,000 for each of those claims. Come do it, buddy. Look forward to seeing you in beautiful Ontario, California.
It's nice.
May 6th and 7th.
Good food. Nice weather.
People, you better beware. People, you better prepare. If you come at him, he just might clap back. It's Petty Pat.